Thank you for tuning back into the United States Nationalist podcast. I'm here with Edwin Hernandez.
Hello, guys.
And today we're going to talk about the subject of censorship and social media. And in particular, we're going to talk about how Alex Jones was shut down on various social media platforms and the content policing and censorship that is going on those platforms. Eddie, what do you think about that?
Well, the main point, as a US Nationalist, we believe in free speech, but at the same time, we also believe in private property, which means they're privately owned companies. We can't let the government interfere in their own private affairs. That's their own right to be, even if they're hypocritical. They have their own right to be hypocritical because they're privately owned.
And people have the right to decide whether or not they want to engage with their business. And that's what's going on, though, is that even though U.S. nationalists can't do anything about it with policy because they have the First Amendment right to do what they want, and really they have the right to run their business how they want. The thing about it is we have to see what they're doing to our culture. These companies are going against the American way of life. And they try to sell themselves as a platform for people to express themselves and to express their values and to meet like-minded people. But they're going against that. They're shutting that out. Alex Jones is attracting a lot of people with similar mindset and similar values, but they're shutting him out just because Facebook disagrees with what he's saying. Just because all these social media networks are saying that he is spreading hate speech. They have vague policies to begin with, but they're shutting out people just because they disagree with the left. Ultimately, it's a big disagreement with the left. What Alex Jones is doing is he's upsetting a lot of people on the left because of the information that he's spreading. And I may not necessarily agree with what he's saying. I haven't listened to him in such a long time. I hear about him every now and then, and I saw him kind of coming up on the media or on articles recently because of what's been going on with social media. But it's crazy. Even if people disagree with him, they still have the ability to defend his right to express his opinion, even if they disagree with that opinion.
And that's the most clear point to add, because the First Amendment, that's what the First Amendment means. You have a right to disagree with a person, but it is also your duty to protect the rights of others.
Absolutely. And that's what's going on here, is that the freedom of speech is trying to get controlled by businesses. Businesses are trying to control the freedom of speech. They're trying to regulate it. And they know that they can't do it legally. So they're doing it with their platforms, the massive platforms that they possess, like Facebook and all the people that they have on Facebook and all the people that use it. They're able to shut people who have a voice out from all of those people who have the potential to join and hear him, to listen to him.
It's no wonder that Silicon Valley is known to be leftist, and it's also placed in California. So California is liberal to begin with. Liberals are usually the ones that are in states like California or New York, or one of the most populous places in the country. So that explains, a lot about how they are not related as relevant, because they're out of reality from people who are middle class or working class people.
In fact, in California, if I remember correctly, it possesses the lowest quality of life of all states. They have the lowest quality of life in California than in any other state in America, and that is crazy. That is crazy because it just comes to show what the left will do to society if you let them take over. And right now, businesses are trying to control that. They're trying to shut out the message of other people that disagree with the left, just to allow the left to continue to spread their message without any interference. And this is helping the agenda on the left. In fact, I'd go as far as to say that this is cultural Marxism. This is communism taking over our culture. They're not doing it through the government. They're doing it through culture. They're trying to ban people, and they have the right to do so. They're trying to ban people from using their platforms, their social media networks, and they have the right to do that. But what they are doing is essentially helping people on the left spread their message of socialism and communism. And the Democrats are already moving in to try to control the internet, try to control what is happening online.
And just to add a cherry on top, the education system that we have currently is not helping. It is only helping the socialists. is only helping any leftist ideologies out there, because and a lot of society already accept, at least millennials, my generation, believes more in leftist ideologies than ever before. And I think that's alarming to say, because socialists and communists can just take over and take advantage of the millennial youth, because the youth has the most energy for change, and that could be something that could help only socialists.
I mean, if you look at it, education system, as you said, it was failing, right?
Yeah.
And the education system is concentrated right now. It's very well controlled by the government, rather than allowing parents to decide where they want to send their children to school, or giving them the freedom to choose. We decide to tax everyone and just pay for a school where everyone is taught the same thing, which is obviously failing us. It's obviously failing our country. Take a look, like you said, at all the millennials who are coming out of there.
Yeah.
They do not possess the intellectual power to get involved in politics, because whenever they do get involved in politics, they become self-destructive most of the time. Most of the time, just because they haven't been equipped with the right information and with the right knowledge. And so the Democratic Socialists of America are going around college campuses, and they're capitalizing on that. They're trying to profit from that. They know that these college students are not the smartest bunch coming out of this public school system, and so they're trying to use that. They're trying to use their ignorance against them. They're trying to tell them that socialism is a good thing, not a bad thing, even though different countries throughout history have proven that socialism cannot and will never exist.
You were talking to me about a solution, or like a suggestion to do for colleges. Since I'm going to college, you told me to start some like a US Nationalist chapter, which I'm open to.
It was an idea, yeah, but I see a lot of organizations now are really taking a strong hold on that idea and moving on it, like Turning Point USA.
Yeah.
Turning Point USA has a strong conservative, strong US nationalist, I'd even say, message. And they support the Constitution. They support freedom for all. They support everything that stands for American values. And they go against the socialists openly, and communism as well. Turning Point USA is one of the greatest organizations I have come across, and they're doing great work.
yeah.
And they're doing great work in college campuses. I'd say they are the opposing force of the Democratic Socialist of America, and that we need more Turning Point chapters growing across America, which they are. They're growing substantially.
I like it how they're approaching the academic field too. Like wherever the leftists were, they're there now.
Yeah.
So,
they're trying to make their presence,
Yeah.
and these guys are doing wonderful things across America, and I would encourage them to continue to do so. We need more organizations like that, which on college campuses, or more people to start chapters like Turning Point, so that we can battle against the Democratic Socialists of America, who are trying to push for socialism in America. Whenever they educate the college students on socialism and they convince them to support socialism, the self-destructive sickness of socialism, then they grow up becoming voters and leaders and taxpayers who are calling for socialism. They vote for socialism. They're the ones who run for office and then start writing legislations in support of socialism to drive the nation further towards the left. And we've seen what happens when to a country when this happens. We've seen what will unfold when socialism takes hold. It's a bad thing. It's horrible. And Democrats right now, with their socialist tendencies and their communist claws, are trying to grab our internet and trying to control our freedom of speech on the internet by passing policies, if I'm not mistaken.
I can tell you by personal experience, there are some things about liberals influencing the actual outcome of how we think. For example, I was in college one day. I had a liberal professor who was openly liberal. She actually said it herself. And this could determine the outcome of how we think in a college. And overall, her class was always, it was liberal. The environment was good. Everything was friendly. I got along with everybody. But with her openly expressing her political views in the education system that's supposed to teach people instead of lecturing people, it just became corrupted because
like a politicized environment rather than educational environment.
Yeah, because her own personal political views often coincided with what she was teaching. So it was only a certain direction, no leaning to the left.
And this is how cultural Marxism takes hold of our nation. They do it through, not through policy, but through social means. They do it by
the culture, like more personal approaches to people, like more in their personal lives.
They hijack the culture is what they do, and they try to change the culture by trying to change the values of the people. See, if you look to the facts, you'll find that there are a vast majority of the professors out there right now. They are all liberals. The vast majority of them. In fact, I believe there's like over 80% of them are liberals, and the vast minority of them are conservative professors. And this disparity, I'm not really complaining that it's anybody's fault, but what I'm saying is that this disparity is showing that our children in colleges are going to come out with a more socialist mentality when we have professors teaching them this. And we have professors involved in protests, getting involved in protests where Antifa comes and where there's a lot of riots and a lot of feminists who are really just cancerous to our society. Feminism is another part of cultural Marxism. Feminism. And now it's getting into our internet, trying to control our freedom of speech. There was this new video that came out by Campus Reform, if I'm not mistaken, and it showed that millennials, when asked about the First Amendment, didn't know the rights protected under the First Amendment. They had no idea, and it's crazy because it comes to show how vulnerable the future is. If the future has no idea what their rights are, if they have no idea what freedom is in America, then what's to say that a politician, or what's to stop a politician from coming and just stripping those rights away from them? It's true that knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And it's even more true that knowledge is power when it comes to our rights and our freedoms and our individual rights to live out our lives the way we see fit. This is the United States National podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If you like what we have to say, please like, share, comment. Thank you.